Insects in general, or butterflies and moths, are so abundant and so diverse that if you take them away from the planet, just about everything we know would grind to a halt. They're so important. They're 50% of all the species out there. If we look at their biomass, they are the fabric on which everything else is hung. We can't live with them, and we can't live without them. Insects, and especially the pollinators, the bees and the butterflies, and many moths actually, are quintessentially important in terms of pollination services. Maybe 90% of our fruit crops are pollinated by insects. So these bees that are coursing around during the day and the moths that are carrying nectar and pollen by night are providing really essential services for us with enormous economic consequences. All of our apples, all of our fruit crops, almonds and that sort of thing are being provided in part by insect services. One of my favorite examples of pollination services would be moths that pollinate flowers. If you're out at night, you can't necessarily have colors to advertise, but scent works very well. So things like gardenia and narcissus and jasmine, some of the most exquisite scents on our planet, are there to attract moth pollinators at night. But just think of how important jasmine is to our existence. It's actually the queen substance of the cosmetic industry. If you want to build a woman's perfume or a cologne, you start with jasmine and then you build from there. All of the silk on this planet is going to come from the Chinese silkworm caterpillar, and this is a product that it uses to form its cocoon. The caterpillar starts at one end and keeps spinning and spinning and spinning until it's done. And you can put that cocoon then in hot water and then unravel it and go back the other direction and get this single perfect fiber. So if you take 5 or 6 of those fibers and weave them together or make silk thread, what you have is a product that is incredibly smooth to the human touch. And that's why our ties and silk sheets feel so wonderful. If we were to go shopping this afternoon, we can go to all kinds of stores and buy products that are linked to this evolutionary competition that's taking place between plants and insects. Plants can't run away when they're being attacked, and attacked by a caterpillar or a grasshopper. So what plants have done is loaded up their leaves, loaded up their seeds, and loaded up their flowers with compounds, chemicals, to prevent being eaten. Like the white sap that comes out of the chicle plant. That white sap would gum up a caterpillar's mandibles, but it's also the base for all our bubble gums. These chemicals that are preventing the plant from being eaten have found their way into our foods in the way of spices. These are also many of our medicines that we use, or nearly all the alkaloids that we use, caffeine and nicotine being two that we use almost every day. And so many of the products around us really have their origin with caterpillars, and my favorite is red wine. I love red wine, and of course what gives red wine its character are tannins, and tannins are digestibility reducers. Tannins are what plants put in their leaves to make that tissue or that nutrition unavailable. And so the next time you drink a glass of red wine anyway, you really should be making a toast to the caterpillars and some of these other little things that run the world. Every single insect is really a library of genes. It's 40,000 genes, and one of those could prove to be the next miracle drug. You never know. And so it makes sense just from first principles to protect what we've got, to protect our natural heritage, to protect this encyclopedia, if you will, of DNA, to protect this enormous, vast resource of new products, unexplored products that could improve the human condition on a planet-wide basis. People sometimes ask me, well, what's the value of this insect, or what's the importance of butterflies and moths? And I know they want me to tell them about monetary value. But to me, the most important thing is their aesthetic value. They enrich the planet. They're absolutely gorgeous creatures. I think that they enrich all of our lives. And the aesthetic value of invertebrates has been vastly underappreciated.